I don't know if it was for most people like difficult to predict that the Obamas were going to line up behind Harris, particularly after virtually everyone else in the party had. But them doing the endorsement, and it was Barack Obama and Michelle. If they now go out and campaign for her, that's potentially a couple of powerful tools. Like Obama's obviously, especially in the context of Donald Trump and Joe Biden, he's looked back on as maybe even a better president than he was, but it was a good time and it was before all this chaos. And obviously the country has a large amount of affection for Michelle Obama. I think that's, and look, they campaigned for Joe Biden, but it was 2020. It was difficult to really maximize using those figures. I think that this could be a powerful set of tools for her. And I really do think that we're gonna have like all of the big hitters of the Democratic Party just barnstorming across the country. And I think it could be powerful for Harris. Biden was gonna need that. But now Harris can do it, and she has all of these figures riding a wave of enthusiasm and optimism that's come about since Harris has sort of been coronated. So I'm very excited. Do you have any general thoughts about Harris as the nominee? I know this is the first time you've been on the show since that happened.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little annoyed that they didn't go out and try to make it at least a little competitive by opening up the field to other Democratic candidates, many of the people that are now being considered for VP, and others across the country. I would have liked to see something in the way of like a democratic process. However, I make no illusions about the fact that in any process, Kamala would have went in as the overwhelming favorite and would have probably came out on top, just by her position as the vice president, as one of the most prominent Democrats in the country from being in that job for the last 3.5 years. And so, like, whatever, I was annoyed by that. But I think the party coalescing behind her makes sense. The money's gotten behind her. The party elites have gotten behind her. I think people are generally just happy to have a Democrat that can go out and make a case for why the Democrats should be elected officials, like can go out and make an affirmative case. I think obviously she has a better chance than Joe Biden, but we'll see.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
Yeah, look, I understand what you're saying. I know Cenk said sort of a similar thing on the Young Turks. I think my fear of it not being opened up was mainly about if he steps down, they do a call and the call nominates her and she's chosen. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like like he endorsed her to that extent. Obviously he threw his weight around, but then like people endorsed her and most of the polls show that people were very satisfied with it. So like we didn't get that open thing, but it's not like the Democrats stole it or rigged it really. No. It was just that like she kind of really locked down a lot of endorsements fast and I think she did it fairly.
Yeah, but we know how the Democratic Party works. Like if you step out of line, Nancy Pelosi, you saw what they did to Joe Biden. They will kill you and your freaking career if they decide to, right? So the people
we saw what they tried to do to Trump. I'm kidding.
the people who run the party, obviously, we're like, look, we're gonna do the Kamala thing. And again, Joe Biden ran with her on the ticket. People voted for that ticket, like with the understanding, like a dude that's about to be 80-something years old might die, quite frankly, and she could take the job. Like I think people are comfortable. It's not out of nowhere, is what I'm saying. But again, I just think a lot of times, and again, we could bring the Republicans in 2016. They were ready to anoint Jeb. Like literally, everybody thought Jeb Bush was the guy. That's who the party wanted. And then the people decided something different. And the delegates are not exactly a perfect proxy for the people, but it would have been, some competition, some people making an affirmative case for themselves. I think that would have been nice to see Kamala have to do that and emerge as the winner. That it didn't happen, honestly, is Joe Biden's fault. because he should have been abdicated his freaking throne. He should have been said, I'm not running for re-election, so we could have had a standard primary. But I think that it didn't happen. And again, all of the party apparatus falling in line behind her, I think speaks to something. I don't know what it is, but it speaks to something. And she's doing a good enough job with the mantle so far.
Sure, I get what you're saying. I would say that would bother me a lot more if like polls came out and like 3/4 of Democrats were like, "Well, what the hell? I wanted Shapiro and I wanted Pritzker and all that." I'm not mad at her. I am mad at previously Biden and the Democratic Party and the mainstream media for being like, "Oh, primary? Oh no, what are you talking about? Primary? What are you primary?" Like that was if anything was rigged, that was what was rigged, and that would have been way more open, and maybe she would have won that, but. I'm annoyed by Biden.
I think she would have had a very nice chance of winning that kind of primary. I really do. I think she would have went into any process as the favorite. But again, favorites don't always win. Look at Hillary in 2008. She was the anointed one. And Obama and his people came and stole it away from her. Like these things happen all the time, right?
They rigged it. They rigged it.
You know, they rigged it for the black guy for the first time ever.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.